We are here with Hank's head man, Jeff Cleveland. And Jeff, we'll start with last week's loss, 77-13 to Abilene, a real tough one to swallow. What went wrong and what happened in that one?
Well, we had some breakdowns in special teams, and right off the bat, which hurt us a little bit. But basically, it was little things that we can correct, and I think that it looked a lot worse than it was. The score certainly wasn't indicative of how we played. There actually were a lot of positives and a lot of things that we took away from that game that we certainly felt like we could build on. And that game's behind us now. I think overall the experience was good, and we're going to try to use it to springboard us into the rest of the season.
If anything, a learning experience. And despite the loss, Knights fans, people in El Paso shouldn't be too worried. You have a lot of guys returning from last season, a 3-win team last season, but you have a lot of starters, especially on offense, and no reason you shouldn't be able to compete for a playoff spot in District 1-5A.
Well, that's certainly our number one goal is to get in the playoffs. That's our first goal every year. Our second goal is to compete for a district championship, and that's the thing. I think you have to have your sights set in that direction, and I really do feel good about the guys we have coming back. And like I said, I saw some things last week against a very, very, very high quality opponent that were impressive to me, and I really feel like as the season goes along, we're going to benefit from that.
Now, junior Emilio Noriega really came on strong towards the end of last season as your quarterback. You also have Paul Pendergrass, who's played a lot of minutes for you. Are you pretty much committed to a quarterback platoon at this point, or is it Noriega's job?
Well, for the first time ever, in my career, I played quarterback in college, and I've coached it every year I've been a coach, and I've never had two guys, that played, and so this is really interesting. Been an interesting situation the last couple of years, but Emilio is going to start this week. Paul has a little bit of a knee deal, and we're going to kind of play it by ear with him. But I feel really good about our quarterback situation, the experience we have there, and of course in what we do, the no huddle, one back spread stuff. It's important to have a guy back there that really understands the pace of the game, what we're trying to get done, getting us in and out of plays and all that. So I do feel really good about our quarterbacks.
Now, speaking of quarterback, your opponent this week, our ADP Game of the Week, Riverside, they have a fine quarterback themselves, Brian Enoho. Talk a little bit about the challenge of trying to defend him in the Riverside offense.
Well, absolutely, man. Brian is a super football player. I tell you, he's one of the best guys I've seen in the last few years here in El Paso. He really does a great job leading that football team. He keeps, like I said many times before, he keeps football plays going with his feet, and then he really can get rid of the ball in a hurry when he has to. And I think that's the key. He makes a football play that might break down a spectacular play, and I think the key with him is that you kind of almost have to treat him like Michael Jordan a little bit. He's gonna get his. He's gonna get some good plays, and the object, I guess, is to try to corral him. You're not going to contain him, but just kind of keep him from going too wild on you.
Well, we're all looking forward to it. As T.O. once said, I think we should all get our popcorn ready for Friday's game against Riverside. Should be explosive and a lot of fun.
Oh, you bet. I really do think it's going to be a packed house. I think it's going to be a high-octane game, and it's going to be a fun one to be at.
Cool. Thanks for the time, Coach.
You bet. Thank you.